Clic, mao, ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Aïe, 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 mao, gazo, clic, mao.
Well, Brad, I'd like to go back to you, and I know your career. You've had a really awesome career, and all wrapped in aviation, or from what I can tell. Can you talk about your career prior to MD? And you did a
Sure.
little bit of that already. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So after the Boeing merger with McDonnell Douglas, there was a big shakeup, and my former boss, who was the president at MD Helicopters, left and joined Sikorsky, and I thought. It might be good to. I was kind of having it sort of up to here, up, with the big companies and the bureaucracy. And I went to work for Sikorsky, and Sikorsky. I put Sikorsky engineers, match them with any engineers in the world, for any aviation. It's just a spectacular engineering company. And I did that for 6 years. Program manager, advanced programs, special projects, the Mike model, Blackhawk. I was first program manager in that, a bunch of things. But I always wondered what it'd be like to work for a smaller company. When I was at Boeing, I ran a Phantom Works program where we had our own building. We controlled the access. It was like a family. It was like a company within inside a company. And I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the people's first names. I used to, as a program manager, I would come in on weekends and do sanding on composite parts, to help out. I would drive a truck to locations, test locations with equipment or helicopter or people. And, I got the whole, again, goes back. It's fun to me, the whole kind of depth and breadth of an organization of being, building something, doing something, but doing it with people, interacting with people when you do it. So I got an opportunity. There was a parachute company called Airborne Systems that was a combination of four separate companies that were brought together, but they were all kind of working independently of each other. And they needed someone to run the U.S. operations, a small company. And they really weren't making much money. It was just kind of stagnant in the profits. And I thought this might be a great opportunity for me to kind of see what it's like at a smaller company and a turnaround. And I enjoyed that a lot. It was really, really fun. It was, again, the similar thing. I thought, well, I've got Boeing and Sikorsky credentials, and I'll go to these parachute guys, and they'll be in awe of my engineering talent and expertise. And it's just interesting. All of these businesses that we see, I'll drive by, I'll see a industrial park or something, and each one of these businesses has a story with some expertise and fascinating production capabilities. And this parachute business was just like that. It was just amazing to me, the engineering that would go into. And we built personnel parachutes. We did parachutes for SpaceX, for NASA to recover capsules. We did them for Mars lander. We just did a lot of different stall spin chutes for aircraft, and it was really, really fun. It was humbling, entertaining, and just very educational to do that. We sold that. Breeze Eastern, the rescue hoist, and a cargo hook company were kind of similar. They'd been stagnant. It was publicly traded. Their stock price hadn't improved in years. So they brought me in. So I went in, did that, ran that for 4 years. We sold it. And then I went to an armor company here in town, same thing, out of bankruptcy, and got that thing back on its feet. And so I had this opportunity came up, and I thought this is just kind of perfect for me. I know the product. I love the product. I still know some of the people around here from 30 years ago. And I've got the experience in doing the turnarounds and understanding, what it takes. So it, all the pieces fell together.
yeah,
It's fun. I'm having a blast. I tell people I've never slept this well in my career. I enjoy it. I enjoy the people. I enjoy the product back here. And it's a bit of a daunting task because MD in the last 20 years has probably not been, I don't want to insult it, but probably not managed properly. And we've lost focus of really, why we're here. We're here for Columbus PD, Phoenix PD, all these people. We're here for HLH helicopters. We're here for all these people that have jobs to do power line work or police patrol, law enforcement, those kinds of things. And our aftermarket support was just in shambles, and we're trying. Good job number one. Rewind. November of 2021, the now current owners. Somebody called me and said, "Hey, these guys are there's MD's going through a court ordered sale." The debt holders are interested to know if they should stay with this company, convert their debt into equity, or just abandon, take whatever 10 cents on the dollar, whatever. And I came out here and I talked to them. I said, look, the bones are really great. That the previous owners couldn't kill this. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't kill this company. They couldn't kill the product, and the product is bigger than all of us. And there's just great bones, great product. The customers love it. This is a company that you want to stick with, and they have. And to their credit, they've given us a pretty long leash and supported us everything we've wanted to do. And the aftermarket is going to take time. The supply chain of getting parts here is going to take some time. But by the end of this calendar year, we should have a good 75% of the most common parts in stock at a level that we can handle the kind of the ups and downs on a monthly basis. We still, repair and overhaul is still tough. There's little things, whether it's a bearing or a casting, still those things you have to work with. And none of them are, exotic Harvard MBA type stuff. It's all kind of, hammer and tong type of stuff that you got to work individually with suppliers. And we've had a reputation of not paying bills and some other things and trying to repair all of that. Yeah, it's still a great company, and I'm having a ball. I'm working long hours and it's tough, but I'm looking forward to this company getting back on its feet again.
Yeah. You've got a history of turning companies around, as you've talked about. So, and you've got a cult following for MD helicopters. Everybody I've ever talked to who's ever flown an MD, kind of like Jeff alluded to, talks about it like it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I think if you guys can tackle some of the supply chain issues with, aftermarket parts or refurbishments and whatnot, I think a lot of that demand will come back. So I'm excited to see, what you guys are able to do to restore MD to its, former glory. And to bring that cult-like following, back to the forefront.
And I'll be honest, as an MD operator, we felt, and again, this is under the old, ownership, but and it was kind of blatantly obvious, but I remember when MD had the Afghanistan contract, to provide, the 530s over there. It seemed like that was the focus for the company. And I realized that was a big, paycheck. But at the same time, the domestic customers felt like, we were abandoned at that point. And that was tough. And so I like to hear that, you guys are focused on the domestic side, because I think that's where, what was lacking in the last, handful of years. And that, that's why obviously there's been some agencies, including my former agency, that, has now gone a different route with, airframes. And it's sad to see because really, I mean, the MD product for a mid-size, airborne law enforcement program is still a very viable option. But I think a lot of folks just got, maybe a bad taste in their mouth with that. And that's a shame, because you never want to see that, especially for an American company that's, putting out an iconic aircraft that's dependable. That was, a shame to see. So I'm glad to hear that y'all are addressing that. And that's
and I believe, look, first thing, all of our wounds were self-inflicted. Bankrupt companies didn't need any help getting there. They did quite well on their own, and there's no laws of physics we have to violate to turn this thing around. It's just some basic business stuff. And I've said, focusing on the aftermarket first, because like you said, Jeff, that nobody's going to buy our helicopter if they know that we're not going to be able to support it, right? We can have the best helicopter in the world, but if we can't get them spare parts or overhaul or do technical support, whatever, nobody's going to buy it. So it's that is our first, that's our main focus right now, to do that. And, just listen to customers and try to be helpful. You repair customer relationships, I think one relationship, one customer at a time. And We have to be humble. We have to be. I went and visited Helamart. I've always liked the Helamart guys. If it wasn't for Helamart, MD may not be in business today. Ed Brown and his guys have supported MD and have done a great service to not only the MD 500 MD operators, but to MD Helicopters itself. So if Ed, he's probably not listening, but thank you very much. But I went to visit them. Before Christmas holiday, and first thing Ed said when I sat there was, "Brad, are you on your world apology tour?" I said, "Well, yeah, maybe kind of I am, And so, but we have to repair all these things. There's been in the past, MD has hated the PMA market, and my feeling is there's a robust PMA market because MD deserves it. If you can't get a part, somebody's going to fill that gap. Somebody's always going to fill that volume, that vacuum, and it's not like we're not going to be able to crush or run these guys out of business. We're going to have to live with them, and we're going to have to figure out how does MD coexist with the PMA folks as well. And there's folks like Aero Metals. I like Aero Metals a lot, and I want Lori and her company to be profitable and successful, and I want us to be profitable and successful. And we're not. Life's too short. The world's too small to compete with some of these folks. Let's move on and be better. For the customer, right? So the customer, customers don't care, right? They don't. They just need a part, right? They don't care about any other stuff behind the scenes. They just need a part.
Yeah. They don't care where they get it from as long as it's approved. And I think if you're selling a lot of helicopters, then you're happy, and then Aero Metal and Helamart are going to be happy as well. So what I think is great too is that you have your lineage comes from Hughes, and so I think that's really big. I would think for the employees of the company that, hey, now we're bringing a guy in that's been with been in this industry and been with this company in the past, knows the history and the lineage. That's huge, I think, for morale. I think it's huge for confidence in a leader, is that you understand where this company's been, where it came from, and where it's going, as opposed to you bring some guy that's just hey, he's good at flipping businesses and coming in from the outside and doesn't know what a helicopter is. I think that's huge for morale for the company too.
Yeah, look. Any idiot can come in and say, "I'm going to cut 25% of the overhead costs, or I'm going to get rid of people, or I'm going to do some, relocate this stuff to Beckudor where it's cheaper." I mean, that's not. That's just a math problem. And
Sure.
what I've always looked at these things is I'd love my kids or my grandkids when I have them to get a job here. I joke, but this is serious. Outside my office is a picture of Howard Hughes, a photo of Howard Hughes. And every time I walk by it, he's looking at me kind of with this disapproving. I'm like, "Look, Howard, look, we're okay. We're working this. We're gonna get this done." And the company's bigger than me. It's bigger than Jack. It's bigger than all of us, right? And our job is just to kind of keep this legacy going. And you can take some things in the short term. But those generally, and it's not great for employee morale. It's not great for a lot stability and a lot of other things. And I think you play the long game here, and build the bones, build the structure back with the customer support. We are working a lot of cost reduction stuff with facility leases and consolidating space here, and we're also working with suppliers. Our suppliers, we didn't have long-term agreements with them. With a lot of the suppliers, we're just saying, "Hey, we want to put orders for the next 3 years. We want the stability because when our demand is stable, they can have a stable production, as opposed to, one of the worst things you can do is say, I want 8 next month, and then nothing. And then 5 months later, I need 6 tomorrow because, you got to, everybody's the same. Everybody wants a stable level, predictable production level. And we're doing a lot of those things. But I think it's, there's not a lot of magic in doing these things other than just sitting back, looking at the cost, looking at the product line, and working everything, working all these things together in a step function. And I'm happy to be here. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like what Jeff said, and it's true. I think from an employee standpoint, knowing they've got a boss that's personally engaged and emotionally engaged in the company, to see it succeed and come back to its former glory, I think is huge.